All signs are starting to point to this. After rumor upon rumor of what the Cavs could be doing in this offseason, it now seems like we have an official idea of what their approach is going to be and what free agents they can attempt to lose and also acquire in this offseason. More of that to cover here at Cavs Digest today. Stay tuned for the full video because we have a lot to break down about the Cavs offseason today. A lot of more official reports and kind of more realistic ideas of what the Cavs are going to do this offseason. I'm Matt G here at Cavs Digest. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's so hard to keep up with everything that happens in the offseason, especially with the Cavs, who are a 64-win team that might be losing a lot of players in this offseason or might be laying it back a little bit, and that's kind of what we're here to break down. So to keep up with all things, everything's Cavs, go ahead and subscribe them. This is kind of a more, not really laid back video, more official video is what we're going to say. You know, we've covered a lot of rumors, a lot of proposals and stuff like that, but this seems more like an official idea of what the Cavs are going to do and kind of a more realistic approach to this offseason is how I'm going to word it. So let's kind of start by breaking down the report that I saw. Cavs looking for rotational help. Core 4 expected to remain from Sam Amico, a source that we have used a lot on this channel as of late for sure in this offseason. So we're going to break down a lot of what Amico had to say and kind of just the overall expectations of this offseason because that's the biggest thing right now. The overall expectations and how the Cavaliers can approach this offseason. I have a couple free agent names that I kind of teased by accidentally clicking through there, but just kind of a general idea of this core 4 that's going to stay. So, of course, the core 4 of the Cleveland Cavaliers that they have built from 1 via trade and then 2 via trade and then, of course, drafting Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. The Defensive Player of the Year winner, Evan Mobley, the All-NBA team, Donovan Mitchell on the far left, Darius Garland in the middle left, who I talked about yesterday due to a successful surgery and what the Cavs should do to help him out and trying to find another point guard. And then Jarrett Allen on the far right, who has been one of the most controversial players on the Cavaliers due to his on-court performances, of course. A lot of people questioning his abilities on the court, and that's kind of something that we're breaking down here. So the main idea here is that the core 4 is going to stay, and that's kind of what it seems more. That's what it seems most generally, at least as of right now, and we're going to break down the reports. The Cavs are looking to make some roster changes even if the core 4 remains the same. They are looking for rotation players, guys who can come off the bench and be effective in the regular season and the playoffs. He then mentioned Okoro. For example, Isaac Okoro has been a solid player in the regular season, but his lack of offense has been a major problem in the playoffs. Pluto wrote, opposing teams just ignore him when he has the ball. So there we go. So that's kind of breaking down one rotational player, Isaac Okoro. I mentioned you saw him in the intro video. I mentioned him previously about how he's probably going to be the biggest loss of the Cavs this offseason. It really seems like he is going to go. And that's where it comes down to. The bench and the rotational pieces is what's the biggest focus for the Cavs is going to be this offseason. So let's kind of break that down. Of course, Isaac Okoro, who we've talked about a little bit. Excuse me. There we go. Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro. These are the 2 biggest guys to keep an eye out for this offseason for returning Cavs players that are likely going to go. More Okoro than Dean Wade. And for me personally, I'd rather have Isaac Okoro than Dean Wade. Or I'd rather have Dean Wade than Isaac Okoro to stay on the Cavs at least. I'd rather have Okoro gone due to his lack of offensive anything in the playoffs. And his defense isn't even like the best on the team at this point as much as it could have been. And he's just been a big disappointment. At least Wade had a high plus minus. Okoro couldn't do all that. And that's the biggest thing for him. So now we're going to go to the next part of the report. The Cavs don't know if they will be able to re-sign Ty Jerome. Pluto wrote, it becomes very complicated on the salary cap for several reasons that aren't easily explained. The Pacers revealed Jerome's limitations handling the ball against pressure. So Ty Jerome now we get so another rotational piece. It seems like this guy could get paid somewhere, and the Cavs could be okay with losing him, which is a little questionable because I love what Jerome did in the regular season, but of course his ability to be that starting point guard looked very, very bad when Garland was out and we started Ty Jerome, and he went 1 for 14 in a playoff game. Like, let's be real here. That's embarrassing. But again, Ty Jerome is that guy that has been the biggest talk of free agency because he was our best. Out of everyone that's on our team that's likely to go, he was our best overall player. 3rd and 6th man of the year behind Malik Beasley and the winner, Peyton Pritchard. Some people arguing they should have won. And then in the playoffs, when he had a chance to be a ball handler, starting at the point guard position when Darius Garland was out, he ended up underperforming. So these are the biggest pieces that the Cavs are likely to lose from rotational pieces off their bench. These 2 guys. These 3 guys, actually. Ty Jerome, Dean Wade, and Isaac Okoro. And they've been the biggest talk for us consistently. And that's what it's going to come down to at the end of the day is what happens with these 3 players. So let's talk about some free agents that I kind of have teased here on accident, but I'm going to break them down. 2 guys that I believe are going to be really, really cheap that the Cavs can try to add rotational can try to add a rotational piece just because they simply fit on the Cavs. First guy is Precious Achiuwa. I'm pretty sure I'm saying his last name right. He was a bottom feeder on the New York Knicks bench, unfortunately. He wasn't getting that much playing time, but also if you know what the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau do, they do not play their bench anyways. Precious is a pretty solid player. He was solid in Toronto. He's solid in New York. He was a part of the R.J. Barrett trade, I believe. Yeah, a part of the R.J. Barrett trade, I believe, and to send Barrett to Toronto. It seems like this guy just needs a new home because the New York Knicks, Tom Thibodeau, did not play his bench anyways, and Precious has a lot to bring to the table. I don't have his stats for you, but this is just an overall solid defender, someone who is physical, and he brings a lot. He would just be a good rotational small forward, power forward piece that could come in and replace Okoro. Now, this guy would be a 10th man on the bench, don't get me wrong. I do not expect this guy to score more than 5 points for the Cavs, but this is just to add depth for very, very cheap because I feel like the Cavs, instead of going trust 8, play 7 or whatever, or play 9, trust 8 or whatever the rule is. I feel like the Cavs should try to go with 8 to 10, close to 10 players, and this guy could be a part of that. Now, the backup center has been the biggest mention. Precious can't play center. I do not want him to play center. He would just be a quick rotational piece for when Evan Mobley's tired and gassed. You would put in Precious just to give Mobley some rest, and hopefully he can play decent rim protection because he is a solid defender. This guy right here, he looks familiar to a lot of you Cavs fans. If you guys remember, he was a bum on the Cleveland Cavaliers. But doesn't matter because this guy is super, super physical and one of the best rebounders in the league every single year, especially on their offensive rebounding glass. Put this guy as a backup center if the core 4 remains, like we said here. If the core 4 does remain, put Andre Drummond there so you can actually give Jarrett Allen some help. My biggest thing on Jarrett Allen, I'm going to try to break this down as quick as possible. I broke this down to my friend. He loved this take, so I'm going to share it with you guys. The reason Jarrett Allen looks so soft in the playoffs is because guys like Darius Garland just do not play good perimeter defense, and it forces Jarrett Allen to come out, and then he's forced to be the only rebounder of the team. This means he has to play consistent help defense and consistent rebounding. Yes, he needs to step up and do that at a high level, but it is hard for him to do it when you're forcing him to play help on so many different people. Mobley is the better help defender player. Jarrett Allen is the better rebounder. You need someone else to be able to rebound, and then when Jarrett Allen just gets tired out because he's the only guy rebounding, you need to add help, and that's why I want Andre Drummond. Now, yes, I am still not the biggest fan of Jarrett Allen as our centerpiece. I do think that he is probably the biggest issue in the starting lineup. Maybe Darius Garland. I'm in between those two on the core 4. But as of right now, I would love to see a guy like Andre Drummond, a guy like Valanciunas, a guy like Malcolm Brogdon to help Darius Garland, but specifically Valanciunas and Drummond to help out with Jarrett Allen. Those would be 2 big pieces that the Cavaliers should look into if they want any sort of chance at doing anything in the rebounding position. So I'm okay with Drummond. I think that that's a big guy that the Cavaliers should look into. So, of course, at the end of the day, the core 4 is likely to stay, and it comes down to what rotational pieces can they add and what can they get for Okoro and Dean Wade. We have covered Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro multiple times recently, so go check out those videos. I just made an Okoro video a couple days ago, and Billy, who's my co-host, we're co-hosts, of course, he covered Dean Wade, so go check that out because these 2 guys do have some value left. Of course, I lean more towards getting rid of Okoro than Dean Wade due to Dean Wade's high plus-minus, but plus-minus is kind of a funky stat to use. But I do like Dean Wade more than Okoro because Okoro is just literally the worst offensive player in the league. Not actually, but people just don't care to even try to guard. At least Dean Wade can take over some games at points, I guess, shooting-wise. And Ty Jerome is going to be the biggest loss on the Cavs bench, but he can't be that backup point guard because when Darius Garland's out, you need somebody else there, and that's why I mentioned Malcolm Brogdon in my last video, so go check that one out. But of course, the core 4 is probably going to stay. It really, really seems like we've kind of been fueling the fire, but honestly, there is a chance that some changes still get made to that core 4, but as of right now, it does seem like it's likely to stay, and I lean towards picking up these 2 guys to help out with the core 4. At least if you want cheap guys, and then of course Brogdon could be a cheap point guard option, and you add so much bench depth. Trade Okoro for a center, and then maybe look what you can get for Dean Wade. But that is it for me today on Cavs Digest. What do you guys think about the core 4 staying if they do? And what do you guys think about free agency? I mentioned Precious. I know he's not great, and Drummond, but I feel like these are guys that would just help at the 10th and 9th spot on the bench, or even like the 10th, 11th, like something that can just really add more to help out with when these core 4 guys are getting tired. So let me know what you guys think. You guys have been amazing. Comment below, hit a like, share the video, and of course, thank you guys for New Man Cavs Digest.